All right, the time has come, the walrus said. So I'm posting the results today from all of the VRs to hashtag Good Mood Decks by Maureen over at the Waves of Your Soul. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I would highly recommend watching my exact same video that I did, but for the hashtag only 10 mass market decks. I'll link it up in the cards. I believe that's over here. Watch that one first because this one is going to have spoilers for that. But basically what I do is, or what I've done, is watched all of the VRs, all of the tags to these videos. And on my handy dandy little Excel spreadsheet here on my laptop, I have compiled all of the information. You heard that correctly. All of the decks. And then I've put them in order of which one was mentioned the most to the least. So head on over to the one I did for only 10 mass market decks in case you don't want this one to be spoiled for comparing any of the other placements. So spoiler alert, you've been warned. Watch the hashtag only 10 mass market decks one first and then come back and watch this one if you want. But for the rest of you who've been waiting so patiently this week, I wanted to film this yesterday, but yesterday was so cloudy and gloomy. My room was so dark, and we all know how much I love my natural lighting. So I put it off until today. Beautiful, sunny. I've got way more time to play with today, so it works out. But here we are. So let's start. I do know that there was a couple people who from the last one requested that I show the spreadsheet. So I will do that at the very end, and I will put the chapters in the comments or however that is worded. I don't know. So you'll be able to go and see the spreadsheet at the very end. I'll show you how I do it. But this one, let's talk about the semantics. No, that's not the right word. We'll talk about it. So I did include out of print decks. Anytime someone mentioned an out-of-print deck, I included it. This happened kind of by accident. I didn't want to include out-of-print decks because that gets into the why of why I'm doing this, which we'll talk about in a second. But what happened was there was a deck that was mentioned a few times that is out of print. I know it's out of print, but I just forgot, and I was recording every time someone said it. So then there was a few other ones that are out of print. Then I was like, you know what, let's just do it. And then there were some that are out of print that I didn't know were out of print right away. So out of print decks are included in this one. Long story short. It does also include Tarot and Oracle, just the same as the only 10 mass market decks one did. I did notice a big difference though. A lot more Oracle decks were mentioned in these VRs than in the only 10 mass market decks. So lots of Oracle decks in the Good Mood decks. I also included like the Little Rock Pool mini decks. Those were mentioned, so we've got some of those in there. So how many videos did I watch? There's more information we're going to go over in a second, but how many videos did I watch? 62 YouTube videos and 1 Instagram post, and I have documented 463 Tarot and Oracle decks, which is way more than the only 10 mass market decks. And 463 isn't even all of them because as I got to the end, I was getting a little lazy. So if people started mentioning decks that it was the first time they had been mentioned and I knew they weren't going to be anywhere in the competing area of the spreadsheet, I wasn't recording them. So we're probably looking at, I don't know, I would say around 500 decks. That's a lot of decks. It's a lot. This video was so much more work than the only 10 mass market decks. Why? Because first of all, you guys were all given carte blanche. With the only 10 mass market decks, you were limited to 10. You had a limit. This one, there was no limit. And some of you had like 35 decks in your videos. And because of that, the videos were longer. There was more decks mentioned. So it was a lot more to go through watching these videos. The videos were longer. There wasn't as many, but it took me so much longer this time around. And I also decided to handle this one a little differently. So instead of trying to watch everything all in one go, which would have been impossible because there were several tags that were over an hour long for this. So I would sit down in the evenings and I would watch 2 to 3 videos at least every-ish evening, because some evenings you have plans, and then that's how I handled it. So it took me a little bit longer to do it. I didn't love doing it this way because it was hard to remember certain things. Like with the only 10 mass market decks, I basically did it all in one night. And because of that, I would remember when a deck was mentioned. And I'd be able to go to the spreadsheet and be like, I know that that one's there. Whereas this time, it would be several days later that a deck would be mentioned. And it was like, oh, has this one been mentioned before? And I'll get to how I handle that when in the spreadsheet section of this. But yeah, so it did take quite a bit longer. So why? Why am I doing this? I will talk about this a little bit more in my March video, my March roundup video, when that gets posted. As of posting this, it hasn't been, we're at March 24th, so it hasn't been posted yet. But I wanted a deck for my 40th birthday. Long story short, that will be covered in my March video. I didn't end up getting the one that I had my heart set on. So I went to the only 10 mass market decks VRs for inspiration. And after I got a couple of videos in, I was like, this would be interesting to know how popular certain decks are. Long story short, I did not find a deck to replace my birthday deck with. So then I was like, all right, well, back to the drawing board and let's try, good mood decks. Because I knew this hashtag was going around. It's about 7 or 8 months old now. So this one's a little bit older than the only 10 mass market decks. I have not participated in this VR. I had plans to. I've got a list written in my book on a start of what decks I was going to do for this video, but I haven't done it yet. So I started watching this one. And was I influenced? Did I find a deck from this VR? Yes, I did. In fact, I found two. One is one of the top ranking decks, and the other one was only mentioned once. So after the results, I'll tell you what those decks are. I don't want to spoil anything, so that'll be in the chapters section below as well. So let's do it. Let's get into it. I did ask people to put their guesses in my Instagram reel about this. One person did guess, but then their comment disappeared. So I don't know where it went. But they got it right. The number one deck from Good Mood Decks hashtag is the Light Seers Tarot. Apologies to some of you. I know how some of you have some thoughts. I don't want to call out anyone specifically, but yeah, it was also the Light Seers Tarot for the hashtag only 10 decks. So the Light Seers Tarot was mentioned a total of 13 times, and there's no tie for first place. It got first place, mentioning with 13 mentions. So this kind of did surprise me because for me personally, although I love the color palette of the Light Seers Tarot, and I love that the people kind of have this free spirit look to them, feel to them, I wouldn't necessarily call it a good mood deck. Because sometimes, like the messages that I get from that deck are pretty, I wouldn't say good moody, I wouldn't say nasty either, but they kind of fall in between. So for me personally, it wouldn't have been a good mood deck selection. But for a lot of you, for 13 of you, it was. So wow, Light Seers Tarot is crushing it. I knew it was a popular deck, but I had no idea how popular it was. So round of applause for Light Seers Tarot taking first place yet again. Second place, it also is not tied. First, second, and third place actually are not tied, which is lovely. So coming in second with 11 mentions is the Everyday Witch Tarot. This is a super cute deck. I'm not surprised that this deck is here. I am surprised it's second place. It is a very cute deck. I do have to admit, I have the mini version, so it is super cute. But yeah, second place really kind of surprised me. And a lot of you really enjoy this deck. A lot of you really get the good feels from this deck. So awesome, super cute. My screensaver just went on. Okay, we're back. So yeah, that's Everyday Witch Tarot took second place. Fantastic. Third place. This one has 9 mentions. When I first started watching this tag, this one was winning by a landslide. Like, I thought hands down this one was going to maintain the first place. And then as I started to watch more, it was getting mentioned less and less. So I must have just coincidentally watched several that mentioned it right off the hop. But it's the Gentle Tarot. Super cute. This deck is, I didn't own this deck, and I've seen it around. It's been around a while. I love the idea behind it. It's the first indie deck on the list, so the third place deck is our first indie. Yeah, this deck has been on my radar for quite some time. Stick around to the end for more information, hint, hint. But so it had a total of 9 mentions, and it takes home third place. Fourth place has a tie with 3 different decks. So they are all tarot. So we haven't yet got an oracle deck yet. So the third place is a tie. All 3 of these had 8 mentions in the videos. Oak, Ash, and Thorn, Smoke, Ash, and Embers, and Tarot of Curious Creatures. So I do have Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Smoke, Ash, and Embers, I'm not a dragon person, so although it is adorable and tempting for that reason, it's the dragons that I'm like, ultimately, I'm not a dragon person. If I was a dragon person, I would be sleeping with Smoke, Ash, and Embers every single night. Tarot of Curious Creatures. I don't there's a word for this. I should have Googled it before I started the video. I did not. But when animal heads are on human bodies, it's not that I have a particular aversion to it. It's just not my thing. I do see how the Tarot of Curious Creatures would be a good mood deck for people because the colors are great. It's fun. I think it's funny. From when I watched people who mentioned it, they said it made them laugh a couple of times. So I do think it's a funny deck as well. Oak, Ash, and Thorn, like I said, I own that one. Adorable. Of course, it's a cutesy, and for me, it's almost a comfort deck as well because I grew up visiting the country, so there's squirrels, there's rabbits, there's crows, there's all the critters in there. So very cute, not surprised. As far as the Oak, Ash, and Thorn and Smoke, Ash, and Embers go, there were some people who only mentioned one and not the other, and vice versa. And then there were people who did mention both of them. So it's kind of funny that it worked out to be a tie for both the 2 of them, which is just a little tidbit of interesting information. All right. In fifth place is just one deck. No one else competing for 5th place. This one does not surprise me. In fact, I'm surprised it wasn't mentioned more. And I think because it's a relatively new deck, maybe that's why. I think if people were doing this hashtag, this VR now, there would be more mentions. Actually, maybe not because the cardstock, but it's the Boo Tarot. So I was not surprised to see this one coming up. Again, I kind of thought I would see it more. When I first started this, I thought for sure the Boo Tarot would be, it is in the top. It's taking home 5th place. So it is in the top. So that's cute. It's a cute tarot. I do not own this one. So again, not surprised. 6th place, we have a tie between 3. 2 of these are quite shocking. The person who talked about the 1st place deck on my Instagram post, the comment that I can't find, they actually got this one as well. So 6th place, a tie between 3 decks. All 3 of these had 6 mentions in the video, and that is the Halloween Tarot, the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, and the Playful Heart Tarot. So stunned with the Halloween Tarot. I am stunned. I know it's a really popular deck, but I don't know if I would have called it a good mood deck. So I love it. I love it when these shockers come out. And with 6 mentions, it's the Halloween Tarot. So great. 6 mentions. The Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot. This one also surprised me. However, I'm not overly familiar with the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, so that's probably why it surprised me. Playful Heart. I don't know too much about this particular deck, so I can't really say either way if I'm surprised or not by this one, but in going through when the flip throughs and people would flip through in their videos, it makes sense. So those 3 are all tied for 6th place. 7th place, we have yet another tie between 3 decks as well, and these all have 5 mentions. Have we had an Oracle deck? No. So in this one is our first Oracle deck, and it's a stunner for me as well. So we'll do the tarot decks in here first, and then it's still 7th place. So the first 2 tarot decks tied for 7 with 5 mentioned are the Housewives Tarot and the Trionfi della Luna Illustrated Pips edition. Very specifically illustrated pips. So not really surprised. I mean, we're talking 7th place now with 5 mentions each, maybe ever so slightly surprised. But the Oracle deck that's also in 7th place with 5 mentions is the Wisdom of the Sacred Bee Oracle. I love this. I love bees. I'm a bee person. I don't own this deck, and I do like it. I'm not sure how I feel about owning it. I'm not sure if it needs to be something on my shelf. It is gorgeous. I do love it, but I don't know if it's something I want on my shelf. But I love that it is the first Oracle and it has 5 mentions tied for 7th place. I love that because I was expecting it to be a mass market for some reason. I don't know why. Now, it is unfortunate if you're wanting to get your hands on this deck, and it's because obviously being an indie deck, it's a little pricey, but I love it. I love the bees. I'm here for the bees. I'm here for the bee Oracle. Okay, the next section is gigantic. So all of these decks have 4 mentions. They are all tied for 8th place, and there is 16 of them. So 16 decks tied for 8th place with 4 mentions all. We've got 3 Oracle decks in this section. So let's talk about the tarot decks first. We've got the Affirmators Tarot. Not a surprise. It is pretty low on the list, in my opinion, but the ones that are above it kind of make more sense, I guess. The Cute and Creepy Tarot. I had never even heard of this, so that's different. The Dark Mansion Tarot. Again, I don't know if I would call it a good mood deck, but I love using the Dark Mansion Tarot. I love the cute faces, I love the art style, and I love the colors. So I feel like that's what makes it a good mood deck. I actually find my Dark Mansion Tarot to be a little bit snarky with me. The Dreaming Way Tarot, the Good Karma Tarot, the Herb Crafters Tarot, the Joie de Vivre Tarot, Morgan's Tarot, Queen Alice Tarot, Tarot de Luz, the Tarot of Mystical Moments, Way of the Panda Tarot, and White Sage Tarot. I thought the Way of the Panda Tarot would be kind of up there with the Boo Tarot. But yeah, so again, in case I'm speaking too quickly, Affirmators Tarot, Cute and Creepy Tarot, Dark Mansion Tarot, Dreaming Way Tarot, Good Karma Tarot, Herb Crafters Tarot, Joie de Vivre Tarot, Morgan's Tarot, Queen Alice Tarot, Tarot de Luz, Tarot of Mystical Moments, Way of the Panda Tarot, and White Sage Tarot. The Tarot of Mystical Moments, it was 2nd place on the only 10 mass market decks. So I love it. It's so interesting how different decks have different, I just had the word and lost it. Just different vibes for people. Like it took home 2nd place in that one, but now it's 8th place in this one with 4 mentions. Again, this was 8 months ago now. So, maybe if this were happening now, it would be a little bit more up there. Okay, so now the Oracle decks that are tied for 8th place are the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle, Earthly Souls and Spirits Oracle, and When My Soul Whispered Oracle. I see the When My Soul Whispered Oracle all the time. Any tag that people do, it's always in it. And it's been in my cart, not in my cart, but in my wish list on Amazon for a long time. Ultimately, I do not think I'm going to pull the trigger on it. No particular reason. It's just, I'm really trying to, this is an older saying now, it's been around for a few years at least, but if it's not an F yes, it's a no. So that's what I'm really kind of trying to work with as far as bringing things into my space, not just tarot decks, but like anything. So it's not an F yes. Okay, now we're getting into 9th place. These are all tied with 3 votes. 1, 2, 3, 4 Oracle decks in this one, but a total in 9th place, we have 21 decks. 21 total decks tied in 9th place with 3 votes each. Let's do the tarot decks first. The Crystal Tarot. I had not heard of this one. I think it's a bit older. Fantastic Menagerie Tarot. The Friends Tarot. The Green Witch Tarot. The Guardian Angel Tarot. Happy Tarot. The Kawaii Tarot. The Mons Tarot. The Muse Tarot, the Northern Animal Tarot, Phantasma Tarot, Shadowland Tarot, Spirit Song Tarot, Tarot del Fuego, that one tempted me, Tarot of the Magical Forest, This Might Hurt Tarot, and the Zombie Tarot. The Oracle decks that are in this category for 9th place with 3 mentions are the Everyday Witch Oracle, Roots and Wings Oracle, the Sacred Destiny Oracle, and Secrets of the Mystic Grove Oracle. I hadn't heard of the Secrets of the Mystic Grove. So again, all of those have 3 mentions each. Okay, so now we're getting into the decks that only have 2 mentions. And so at 9th place, we're only at deck number 52. So, and I said there's 463 in this spreadsheet. So that tells you something about the remaining decks that only have 1 and 2 mentions each. So we can just kind of, it's basically any other deck you can think of has 2 or 1 mentions. So with the 2s, Anecdotes Tarot, Angel Tarot, these are alphabetical order in the place that they're in. Animal Kin, Apparition, Bad Girl Oracle, Blacklight Tarot, Cat Tarot, Cosmic Slumber, Crazy Sexy Love Notes, Cute Cat Tarot. I kind of thought there'd be more of those. Dame Fortune's Wheel Tarot, Desert Illuminations Tarot, Dreams of Gaia Tarot, Eye Candy Oracle, Fairy Tarot, Finding Inner Peace, Forest Enchantment Tarot, Future Ancestor Gateway Oracle, Goblins and Gardens Tarot, Goddess of Love, Healing Waves Tarot, Hilda Tarot. I actually think that the Hilda Tarot, I don't know. I was kind of expecting it to have a couple more mentions, but Home Oracle, How to Be a Wildflower deck, Illustrated Crystalliary, Lazy Crow Tarot, Lioness Oracle Tarot, Little Bug Oracle. Kind of thought that one would have a little more. Little Wizards Tarot, Luminous Void, Magics and Mediums, Magic Tarot, Magical Dogs Tarot, Many Queens Tarot, Marshmallow Mersai, Modern Witch Tarot, Moon Baby Tarot, Moon Child Tarot, Morgan Greer, Mysteries of Mary Tarot, Mystical Medleys Tarot. I thought that one would have so many more mentions. So again, we're just only at 2 mentions out of 62 YouTube videos and 1 Instagram post. It was only mentioned twice. Night Visions Oracle, Orion's Animal Tarot, Queen of the Moon Oracle, Rainbow Heart Tarot. We're still at 2nd place. 2 mentions. Sacred Self-Care Oracle, Sea Melodies, which is one of the Little Rock Pool ones. Secret Garden, it's Little Rock Pool. Secrets of Wandwood, Sock Monkey Oracle, Spirit Animal Oracle, Spirit Animal Wisdom, Spirit Cats. Like I could go, there's lots. I'm just scrolling down the spreadsheet. There's so many. Like I said, when we were at 9th place, the last deck in 9th place was deck number 52 out of 463. So there's no point in just sitting there mentioning all of these. It's like I said, pretty much any other deck you could think of that might fall into a good mood deck category has 2 or 1 mentions. So that's it. Now I did talk about if I was influenced to buy a deck or not. The answer is yes. One of the reasons why I've had this done for over a month now, I think. About a month. It's been done. All the information's been done. I've been ready to go, ready to film. But I ordered a couple decks because of this VR. And I wanted to have those decks in my hot little hands to show you. And one of them is missing. It's gone. I've tried to get a hold of the creator, and unfortunately they're not responding. I do think they might be on vacation, so I don't have it. And in a perfect world, I would love to have it, and I would love to show you. But life must go on. The show must go on. So the first deck that I do have in my hands, that I was influenced to purchase, that I've already hinted towards, is the Gentle Tarot. So let's get a gander. Obviously, I've purchased the tin version. So when I saw it, the first video I saw of this deck was the tin version. And I'm not going to lie. It was the tin that made me like, oh, I want that. And then I sat back and I was like, okay, wait a second. Do you want it just because of the tin? I mean, it is a bit of a bigger tin when you think of a mini deck or a travel size deck. This is a bit of a honkin' tin. Do you want it for the tin, or do you want it because of the cards? So then, of course, I went into a deep dive again with looking at the cards, doing YouTube unboxings, YouTube walkthroughs, and obviously I ended up buying it. I liked it enough to buy it. So let's talk about, I want to show you the cards that really sold this deck for me. So not that this has any effect on this video whatsoever or even matters, but this is one of my favorites. I absolutely adore this card. Here's another good one. So going through the walkthrough, I definitely saw some cards in here that didn't really jive with my personal meaning and relationship to these cards. But then I also saw some like these that I'm showing you that just really sold the deck for me. And also that tin. I just love the tin. It's adorable. The deck is adorable, and these cards that I've just showed you sold it. Also, like for a mini deck, the production is fantastic. The deck is a PDF, so if you're a deck person, or if the book is a PDF. If you're a book person, you can buy the companion book that goes with it. So that was the first deck that I was influenced to purchase. Also, it's got like a foam lining. I do think that the first version had a tighter foam lining, and I know that there was a lot of complaints that you had to put the cards in smaller chunks to get it to go in properly, but now it's totally fine. If you were on the fence about buying this because of that, it's fine. The lid is a slide on. I just love it. The other deck I was influenced to purchase, it only had one mention. Only one person mentioned this deck. I have not heard of it before. I'll try and put photos up. I think it's called the Tarot Mood. I always want to call it the Mood Tarot, but I think it's called Tarot Mood. And it's a clone of the RWS. She has recolored it. And if and when I ever do get the deck, I do want to do a side-by-side comparison to my plaid back RWS just to see the color differences. But it is a clone, and the titles have been removed, so I don't think it would be an excellent choice for a beginner. But these little speech bubbles and things that she has added are hilarious. I think they're so funny. And for an indie deck, the price of this was not terrible at all. So I was like, yes, please. Hopefully I get it in my hands. Hopefully the creator gets back to me and we can figure out what happened and where it is or what have you. But yeah, I don't have it at the moment. But I was influenced to buy 2 decks. So there we go. Mission accomplished. I don't know if I'm going to do this again. I said this the last time, but the purpose was to find myself a deck, and now I have found not 1 but 2. So I really don't know if I'm going to do it again. This was a lot of work, and it was very time consuming, and especially in this kind of tag where you weren't limited to anything, like you weren't limited to, like I said, it was carte blanche. It wasn't only mass market, it was mass market and indie. It wasn't only 10, it was a limitless amount of decks. It wasn't just tarot or just oracle, it was both. So there was a lot happening in these videos, and it was a lot of work. And to follow that up, here's the spreadsheet. If you want to see what or how I've done this, let's take a look. So this is the moment in my tarot tube lifetime that we all learn I'm not technologically superior or even knowledgeable at all. You can fully see my reflection. There's like this light thing happening. So if you've got light sensitivities, this is just terrible. And I apologize profusely. This is my like old school laptop that I've had since I was in my early 20s. It's where I have Excel. So this is what we're working with. But I'll try and do it as quickly as possible. So here's the spreadsheet. You can probably see your YouTube name on here. Apologies, we'll get that out of the way. So I have 2 different versions of it. I have the alphabetical version. So this is just everything A to Z, all decks A to Z. And then in this version, I have the ranking. So it organizes it by this column, which is how many mentions each one has. So we'll go back to the alphabetical one. So what I will do, again, let's get everyone's names off there. I organize it alphabetically after each individual video that I watch. So if a new deck that hasn't been mentioned before gets added, I would add it at the bottom. And then when I was done watching that person's video, I would reorganize it alphabetically so that that deck was easy to find if someone else mentioned it. And then every time someone mentioned a deck, you can see I would put a 1 next to that deck in the column, in the row for that deck. And each YouTube video has its own column. So that happened because I had to think of a way where I wouldn't watch the same video more than once and record the same information more than once. Same with these decks. So you'll see, let's scroll to the very bottom and we'll start adding. So let's type in, you can see that winter weight is already here. It's number 445. So if I wasn't sure, if someone had mentioned winter weight, I would go, okay, winter, and I would start typing it in, and you can see that the Excel spreadsheet auto-populates it because it's already there. So same with the channels, same with up at the top. If I was to do the exact same thing and start typing Coyote Tarot, it would auto-populate the rest of it because it's already there. So that's how I would handle it to try and make sure that I wasn't duplicating a deck or duplicating a YouTube channel. And then this is how I kept track of everything. I put a 1 every time a deck was mentioned. So a winter weight, I think, was mentioned once, maybe twice. Obviously here we have the winter magic. It was probably mentioned once. If we scroll to something a little bit more popular, here's our light seers. We can go across here and see, look at all the times it was mentioned. So there's lots of 1s. A tick again for every time someone mentioned it, and there's our total is 13. So then again we go to this spreadsheet where it's organized by column BZ, which is the column that has the totals. It's a formula with totals. And then I just kind of put everything in its own place. So this is 6th place, 7th, 8th, 4, 3, 2. And yeah. So that's how I handle the spreadsheet. So sorry for this terrible demonstration, but I don't know how to do it any other way. So that's that. That is my second attempt at taking statistical analysis of Tarot VR. Again, I don't know if I'm going to do that again. So no promises, but I've also learned to never say never. So there might be another one that comes up that just piques my interest a little bit, and it'll be a game time decision. We'll see how it goes. And I'm really sorry for the flash warning of the spreadsheet. There probably is a way to share that screen. However, I have no idea how to do it, especially on that laptop that is forever old and not even connected to the internet. I would have to connect it to the internet and whatever else to share the screen. So apologies for that. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm sure there's another way to do that, a simplified way of doing it in Excel. That's just my quick and easy way. When again, it was just kind of an impromptu decision with the only 10 mass market decks. So I was like, how am I going to do this? And it was just, that's what it was. I do work with Excel every single day for work. So, I do have a bit of Excel knowledge, but there probably is a better way of doing it. And if you can figure that out, fantastic. For me, this worked. I was okay with doing it this way. It is what it is. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the results. That Light Seers, man, it has just taken home all of the hypothetical trophies. All of the fake trophies, hypothetical. That is just taking home, it's just taken home all of my trophies that I don't have to hand out. So good for Chris Ann. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Wish me luck editing this video because my editing software has been mean lately. You'd think it's a Mercury retrograde. Enjoy the rest of your day.